Hi, I'm Seth Long. Thanks for clicking on my video and giving me a chance to introduce myself and to talk about the courses I'm teaching this year. This is my fourth year at Calico High School, and I'm teaching three different English courses this year: World Literature and Composition, Thematic Interpretation of Literature and Media, and English 9CA. So if you're watching this video, it's because one of those three courses pertains to you. I'll mostly speak generally about things that pertain to all three courses, but there are a few specifics about each course that I'll try to address at the end of the video. Regardless of the course your son or daughter is taking, all students must bring a choice novel with them to class. So this is a self-selected novel, something of interest to them. It could be something that they get from the library here. It could be something they picked up at the public library, or something from home. The goal is to maintain a daily practice of reading. We try to do this at the beginning of class every day, if and when possible. Sometimes, depending on what we're doing in class that day, independent reading time might be a little shorter. Usually it's about 10 minutes or so. And my philosophy on that, and it's pretty much a department philosophy, school-wide philosophy, is that if students are given a choice of what to read, they are more likely to be engaged and thus have a better chance of acquiring confidence and skills as readers in a more general sense. Later in the semester, this independent reading does culminate in an academic project, but the primary goal, again, is really just to develop a healthy reading habit. Another thing I require in all three courses is a writer's notebook, and this is just your basic Mead 100-page college-ruled notebook. A lot of coursework is completed in these writer's notebooks, so whether it's a reading journal that accompanies, our novel study in class, or whether it's writing exercises based on mentor texts, or we're going over different strategies to develop comprehension or deepen critical thinking. Whatever the case may be, I ask that students have a notebook like this and bring that notebook to class every day. I did make notebooks available to students at the beginning of the year. I have plenty of extras if they happen to need one. So this is something that is kind of part of the daily routine in all three classes. We do some, writing study of some kind. With that said, just what does a typical class look like? It's kind of broken into these different components here, and there is flexibility, again, depending on what we're doing. We might have to shift things around, but in general, like a typical class is broken into like different components. We start with independent reading time, like I said, 10 minutes or so. Then we move into notebook writing, writing practice, and then text study or a mini lesson. This is usually, whatever major work of literature we're currently studying, and that will comprise the bulk of the day's work. And then there's time to work or create. This could be an extension activity based on what we're studying, based on the novel that we're reading. It could be time to extend something that we did in our notebook activity earlier, work on a rough draft of an essay or some other piece of writing. This is often subject to change, based on what we need to accomplish that day. But normally that's kind of the structure. We have independent reading, writing practice, mini lesson, or a focus on a novel or a major work of literature, time to extend that work in an activity, or time to work on a larger piece of writing. That's kind of how we break things down. The World Literature course and the English 9CA course are pretty much structured the same way. We survey a variety of literature, often through novels, also through drama, poetry, short stories, sometimes nonfiction. And the difference between like the 9CA and how that's structured and how World Lit is structured is pretty slight. Obviously different areas of focus in terms of what we're going to emphasize with our writing in World Lit, and obviously the literature that we cover, but the structure is kind of the same. World Lit, obviously, given its name, it does have an international focus, including novels like Things Fall Apart, novels like The Kite Runner. Two of the major texts in 9CA are To Kill a Mockingbird and Shakespeare's Macbeth. Both courses focus on composition. Again, the need is different. The skills that we're expected to cover and go over are different, but the same opportunities, to practice writing narrative, practice writing persuasive and informative essays, both or all of those are features in those two courses. The course that's a little different is the thematic interpretation of literature and media, and that's different just in terms of how it's structured. So we have units that focus on a specific theme, and then we'll analyze how that theme is explored in a variety of texts and in a variety of media. So for instance, a theme might focus on good versus evil, and then we might read a short novel or a few short stories or a play, a work of drama, maybe some poetry, and see how that theme is kind of explored in a variety of domains. There is kind of a film element to it, so for a lot of these units, we'll also watch a film that covers that same theme and see how all of that compares, contrasts with each other. We'll analyze that theme across all those different fields of study. But otherwise, the expectations are the same. There's a writing component built into it. Sometimes the projects or the culminating activities are a written essay. Sometimes students have to produce a podcast. Sometimes they have to give a presentation. But the difference really is just how the units are structured. Like we're basing it around a theme, and then we're looking at how that theme is explored in novels, in plays, in poems, in film, what have you. Okay, so that's the breakdown for those three courses. If you have any questions for me, I can be reached at seth_long@cocalico.org. I encourage students to reach out to me via Schoology if they have any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me kind of run through what the classes are and what they require, and I hope you found it helpful. And if you have any questions for me, like I said, don't hesitate to reach out at any time. All right? Thank you.